Are you a fan of the Real Ghostbusters, that animated series that used to come on back in the 80s on Saturday mornings? Or at least it did where I lived. I don't know what time it came on or what day it came on wherever you were. But I know I'm a big fan. I've been a big fan since the 80s. And I've also been wanting a very good, at least decent, watchable, roughly complete DVD set, something that's decent, something acceptable, that won't cost me $400. Well, if you've been doing that too, you might be interested in a theory that I want to talk about. So, as the great Tone Loc once said, let's do it.
Sanity runs in my family. Practically gallant.
Open your mouth, talking to each brain. Don't act like you didn't know I'm insane. I'm a train wreck, denim in your head. The dance of the dead months under your bed. Got no limits and got no lines. I'm over the edge and counting.
Hey, all you drive-in mutants and pop culture junkies. You Gen X fans of all shapes, sizes, and ages. Welcome to Unconformed Media. I'm Jerry, and in this video, we're going to talk about the Real Ghostbusters, as if you didn't figure that out from the thumbnail, which would probably be the reason that you clicked on this. So you know that already. So let me get started with the question. Have you been watching these? Is this the only way that you have to watch the Real Ghostbusters? Or maybe that Sony incomplete disc set that they put out twice. Yeah, it's, what is it, about 11 or 12 episodes compressed onto one disc. So tons of blocking and blurring, motion blur mess. Not great audio either. Yeah, well, I was trying to figure out what is the best, the absolute best that I can get. I was just the other night going through Amazon and Walmart and some bookstores I've never even heard of, trying to find something, and I'm using Microsoft's Copilot, which I have a paid version of, so it usually does a good job of helping me find things. Well, all it could do, if I want the best there is out there, is tell me to buy the Time Life release. That would be the one in the firehouse that costs $400. And no, I don't want to pay $400 to watch the Real Ghostbusters, especially if it's on DVD. So after a little while of searching, I started thinking about something. I remembered some information that correlated with something I remembered being the last time I watched the Real Ghostbusters on TV. It was on MeTV Toons. Yeah, it's been airing on MeTV Toons. If you're not familiar with MeTV Toons, you should definitely check that out if you're like a 70s, 80s, 90s cartoons fan. If you miss Saturday morning cartoons, they're there. You can find them. And what I learned from a couple little birds named Jerry Beck and George Feltenstein, they were talking about when both Warner and Universal had MeTV Toons request episodes of various classic cartoons. They had no interest in restoring these things, no interest in ever doing anything with them until they got this request from MeTV Toons for episodes. And then they refused to give them the episodes until they had all been remastered and they had broadcast quality ready stuff for them. So that's why if you're watching these cartoons on MeTV Toons, they don't look too bad, and some of them look really good. So I started thinking, Sony, they may not be trend setters, but they're definitely trend followers. And if the Real Ghostbusters is showing on there, and it looks good, then that means they have masters that are sitting on a hard drive somewhere just waiting to be burned onto disk. So why am I making all this fuss about some terrible quality DVDs when just around the corner there's a pretty good chance that, no different from Universal and Warner, as it regards Warner Archives, to putting out Blu-ray releases of these things? I started thinking about the fact that Netflix is planning to do a Ghostbusters animated series. Now, I started calculating, well, we've seen them do this with She-Ra. That didn't go well, but what it did was ignite a conversation and renew interest in these old original She-Ra cartoons from Filmation. And the toys and everything. We started seeing toys and the DVD sets coming back out. And the same thing happened with Masters of the Universe when they did not the exact same thing, but they did a halfway acceptable reboot, I guess you'd say, continuation. It was supposed to be a continuation. I don't know about all that. But Kevin Smith really had a lot of conversation surrounding him after he put out that Masters of the Universe Revelations. Was it Revelations? I don't know. I watched the first season or whatever it was and decided not to continue with that one. But we've got all kinds of toys and a new movie. And also, the old canon Masters of the Universe movie has been put out by 2 boutique labels. We have another one coming up in 4K. And most people hated that movie. But now everybody wants to see it again. People want to own it. Why? Well, it all goes back to Netflix getting people all mad about their remakes and reboots, and as Dan Monroe would say, God help us, the reimaginings. That seems like a recipe for a new release of the complete series of the Real Ghostbusters on likely Blu-ray, probably Blu-ray high definition, possibly even 4K scans, and it'll be a nice release, a really good one, the best we've ever had, and it probably won't cost $400. So, look, I'm not out to make this a big thing, but I would like to start the conversation and get people talking about this, because the more people are talking about it, the more likely Sony is to get their eyes on it. And don't forget, these things also draw the attention of boutique labels. So it's always possible a boutique label could pick this up, license it, and put out a great release. So I don't know. I can't guarantee anything. But myself, I decided not to spend money on crappy DVDs that are just terrible quality and not even the complete series, and not spend $400 getting some DVDs that are definitely better, but still they're standard definition. And you got that really cool Firehouse, but I don't want to pay $400 for that. So I thought it's worth waiting. Give it a year and see what happens. See if we see any stir, especially after that Netflix thing comes out. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. I don't have Netflix. I haven't had Netflix for at least a couple years. I canceled Netflix after having been a subscriber since back in the day when they were doing DVDs, mailing DVDs to you at home. So I stuck with Netflix for a long time and then finally just gave up all hope that there was anything good coming out of it. We did get Stranger Things, though, which there's some debate about the way that ended. But I don't want to get into all that. All I can say is there's definitely a conversation to be had. And it may be worth the wait to get something really good. Something for you to think about. Let me know in the comments section if you think this may be a good possibility. So for now, I'm going to say farewell, pop culture nerds. And remember, it's hip to be square, so corrode your conformity.
Make way for hell, there's hell today. What else can I say?
All of those precious things, like those broken rings, like in a broken ring.
Fall